That's focalpoint@afr.net. Focalpoint@afr.net. Number 888-589-8840. One quick soundbite before we go back to the phones. Here's the mayor of New York. He's a mayor in New York, the mayor of Gloversville, New York. His name is Dayton King. And listen to the analogy that he uses about what he sees coming. He's a big people control guy. He's a big gun control guy, and he warns about the kind of standoff that's coming. And we use this analogy. Remember what happened in the standoff to which he refers. Let's listen.
Most people are law-abiding citizens and may go ahead and sell those or turn those over, but you're going to have a faction of people that are going to take a stand. And I can just predict a Waco-style standoff in some rural area, and it's not going to end well.
So that's the guy saying, look, this is going to be a Waco-style standoff if these Americans try to exercise their Second Amendment rights, and it's going to end like Waco ended. What happened in Waco? Well, Janet Reno sent the troops in. 85 people, including women and children, got burned to death. So that's the New York mayor saying that's what's going to happen to people who stand up for their Second Amendment rights. 888-589-8840. Let's go to Stephen, College Station, Texas. Stephen, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Yes, thank you for the work you do. Definitely, God bless you for all you do. But
thank you.
I wanted to comment on one thing about our gun control laws that I don't think anyone in the media really talks about is our 1968 Gun Control Act. Senator Dodd, Thomas Dodd, who's now deceased, we have a record 4 months before they passed that law that he got translations of the German text of their 1938 gun control law, which is where our procurement, our hunting purpose comes from. We never had that up until that bill, basically hunting and sporting purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And it was copied from the Nazi law where they talked about guns that were for the procurement of small game. And I just wonder why no one talks about, I mean, we have it on record in Congress that he got the translation of the Nazi laws 4 months before he introduced and passed the our 1968 Gun Control Act. And I mean, just why no one talks about this history of basically it's a plagiarized Nazi laws is what we have on the books right now. And no one seems to notice or talk about that, and I'm just wondering why that is.
Well, that's a piece of information I didn't have before, Stephen, and I appreciate that. We'll have to poke into that a little bit. I do know, we've made the parallel on this program, and thank you for your call. We've made the parallel on this program between what Hitler did in Nazi Germany and what President Obama is talking about doing today. The first thing that Hitler did in 1933 when he took office is he began to confiscate guns. In 1938, he made it flatly illegal for any Jew to own a gun at all. And he only gave permission to friends of the regime. Only his political allies were allowed to have guns. Everybody else had to cough up their guns. Their guns were confiscated. They were not allowed to own them. They were not allowed to keep them. They would go into the homes of Jews, for instance, and they would literally ransack the place and confiscate their guns. So that's the first move that a tyrant makes, is to try to confiscate guns because he knows that's the ultimate protection against tyranny. And that's what the founders understood. The Second Amendment's not about hunting. It's not really ultimately even about self-defense. What it's about is about protection against tyranny. And Thomas Jefferson said those exact words. You need a well-regulated militia consisting of the whole body of the people in order to protect and preserve the security of a free state. If you want a free state, not a state that can hunt, but a state that is free from government tyranny, your people need to keep and bear arms so they have resources to defend themselves against an overreaching central power, just like we'd been through with the Crown. Let's go to Jim in Columbus, Mississippi. Jim, you're on Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Well, I wanted to take a little bit of exception with the phrase that all men are created equal. I think if there is any self-evident truth in this world, we should all be able to recognize that all men are not created equal, but only in the sense that we are endowed by our Creator with the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We all have different talents. Some come into this world with debilitating deformities. And going back to your point about homosexuals, there's a term for it, and I'm not sure what it is, when a person is born with both sets of organs. I'm not sure if you know what that is or not, but
Mm-hmm.
that denotes that there was a genetic mix-up of some kind to be born with both sets of organs.
Right.
So you have to extrapolate that can a person be crossed up on the inside, but it just doesn't manifest itself on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I believe that happens. You know, I went to school back in the 70s, and we noticed a few of the guys that we went to school with had some strikingly feminine qualities about them.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, we found out that they were homosexual, and you know, I don't think I could fake some of those qualities and those tendencies that they have if I tried. They were naturally that way. They naturally had feminine qualities about them, and that's just the way they were born. That's the way they were made up. I don't think they were trying to fake that. That's just the way they were.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a complicated question and issue, but the main thing is about that. You know, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. We're really not. If there's a self-evident truth, we're not created equal.
Well, again, I think, Jim, the point is created equal in what? And I think what the founders are saying, they're not created equal in ability. I think that's what you're talking about.
No,
They're not created equal in ability, because you're obviously right. I mean, I'm never going to be able to play golf, you know, like Phil Mickelson or Tiger Woods or Rory McIlroy, no matter how hard they work at it, because I'm not equal to them in ability, and I never will be. But we are equal in the sense that we are both created in the image of God. So we have an equal claim to the right to life, liberty, and property, regardless of our ability, regardless of our intellect, regardless of anything that makes us different. We have exactly the same claim on life, liberty, and property, because we have been made equally in the image of God.
That's right. That's right. In that sense, it's a paradox, because we are in one sense, and then in another sense, we're not created equal because we're all so different. And that's the miracle about all of us. We all got different thumbprints. None of us even have the same thumbprint.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and that's part of, you know, what the public policy debate is really about. And I think there's one fundamental, you know, difference between the way conservatives look at the world, the way, Jim, you and I think would look at the world through a constitutional lens and a lens of kind of Western values, and the way that the secular fundamentalists look at the world, because what we believe in is we believe in equal opportunity. We do not believe everybody has the same abilities, has the same inclinations, has the same temperament, has the same aspirations, has the same ambitions. Some people want to grow up to be an astronaut. Some people want to grow up to be a fireman. Some people want to grow up to be a cop. Some people want to grow up to be a president of the United States. Not everybody has the same aspirations. We're not equal. We're not the same in that regard. So what we want is we want everybody to have an equal opportunity to pursue their dreams and to pursue the calling that God has on their lives without government getting in the way. What secular fundamentalists believe is an equality of outcomes, equality of results. They don't believe in equality of opportunity. They believe in equality of outcomes, and the only way you can have everybody wind up at the same place is you've got to rig the game. If you're going to have a 100-meter dash and everybody's got to finish with exactly the same time, only way you're going to do that is you got to rig the game. You got to interfere. You got to use coercive power to get the same results out of everybody, and that we will fight till the day we die. All right, Jim, listen, thanks for the call. I appreciate that. Let's go to Chris in Searcy, Arkansas. Chris, you're on Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Well, first off, I want to say you pretty much hit that one right on the head. You're exactly right when it comes to the outcome. They don't want equal opportunity. They want equal outcome, and that's socialism. That's just what it is. They don't want to call it that, but that's what it is. When everybody has to get the exact same thing at the cost of those who have succeeded to give to those who have failed, that's socialism. And I think our problems today is so much further than this gun control and Barack Obama and his tyrannical efforts. What we're facing today, the problem is all these left-wing liberalists and the anti-guns and the pro-gay marriage and this and that, most of them have no idea what they're really pushing for. They're what John Lennon called the useful idiots.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize what they're pushing. And what they're pushing is a socialist agenda. They don't think they are. They think they're doing what's right. They think they're, doing this great and awesome, mighty thing, but they don't realize all the beliefs and all the people they're supporting stem all the way back to the Marxists and to the American communist society.
Well, listen, Chris, I appreciate that call. I'm going to let you go because we're crawling up against the end of the hour. But, a good friend of mine, Curtis Bowers, put all that together in a great documentary called Agenda. And it's all about how socialism, going all the way back to Karl Marx, infuses the thinking and the policy making of President Obama. He is a son of Marxism, a son of socialism. So his thinking has been imbued. He's been brainwashed into socialism. In fact, the founder of Whole Foods, or the CEO of Whole Foods, says it's really fascism. What Barack, and this is the CEO of Whole Foods. These guys are the granola beetle juice eating, Birkenstock wearing tree huggers. That's who goes and shops at Whole Foods. So these guys are as organic as you can get. And this guy says, look, what President Obama's doing with healthcare, that's fascism. Because fascism, socialism, is the government owns the means of production. In fascism, you get to own the means of production, but the government tells you how to run your business. And that's exactly what we have with President Obama. It's fascism. It's not even socialism, something even more sinister. Focal Point, AFR Talk. We'll be right back after the news. Stay with us.